Hello, everyone. Great to be here with all of you today. I'm Srinivasan, Chief Business Officer at TRIPP. TRIPP is the category-leading XR wellness platform. And prior to joining TRIPP, I held roles at amazing organizations driving business development, sales, strategy, significant revenue growth over a number of years. And the exciting thing in joining the founding leadership team at TRIPP was not only bringing a lot of my expertise to bear, but the real clear mission alignment that came into focus. And at TRIPP, we're envisioning a future in which people are empowered with cutting edge tools that are bringing greater agency and ultimately newfound well-being into their daily lives. That's our mission. So a little bit about us. We were founded in 2017. To date, we've raised a little north of $28 million from top investors. We have formulated a really talented team and set of advisors that've got deep engineering and product expertise, game industry DNA, which plays really well into our offering, and scientific expertise. Through VR, our laser focus that I think we achieved thus far was to create a psychologically safe container. And through that container, we allow people to reconnect with themselves and within minutes shift how they feel. So now widely distributed across all of the top VR, AR, and MR device platforms, as well as virtual worlds, we're gamifying wellness and in turn shaping the mindful metaverse. So what are the key drivers that are at play here for us? So first, while I think we live in one of the most amazing times to be alive, levels of stress, anxiety, and depression, they continue to escalate globally, and you heard a bit about this earlier from Srini. But mental health is not only top of mind for individuals, it's clearly top of mind for top organizations. When we look at the metrics, we're seeing $1 trillion productivity loss year over year coming in around depression and anxiety. The second really important factor is the acceleration of spatial computing. And we need probably no more powerful example of that than the announcement of the Vision Pro from Apple. So when we look at these factors, we see a huge market opportunity. In the category of AR and VR within the metaverse, we see a roughly $36 billion serviceable market, of which wellness represents a $3 billion obtainable share. So what are we up to? TRIPP, in short, looking ahead, is building what we refer to as a massively mindful online community. And there's 4 dimensions at play here. First, you saw a little glimpse of our experiences in VR. So think of that as TRIPP XR on demand. These are self-guided experiences that you could do at any time of the day. Already in our content library, we've got north of 2,400 possible combinations of experiences from developed in-house originals and also third party. So you can kind of think about that content component as TRIPP being the Netflix of transformative content. And we've got hundreds of thousands of paying members around the world, not quite in the millions yet, but that's our aim. Second, and this is a really exciting dimension, and you got a little feel for this in the presentation earlier, live metaverse wellness gatherings are exploding from us. We're holding over 40 live sessions per week. I think we've put in north of 150,000 individuals into sessions. And we're recently written up in MIT Technology Review about this within a niche focus of grief recovery. So it feels good to see that impact. Third, mobile augmented reality is an area that we're going to be unveiling something in partnership with Niantic, the makers of Pokemon Go, later this year. And you can think of this in live physical spaces as a type of Pokemon Go for mindfulness. And then fourth, we're really intent looking ahead to allow creators to have their own monetizable spaces inside of virtual environments that will exist within TRIPP. And this has come about as a result of some world-building tech that we've acquired and we're integrating, called Eden. So a little bit on our platform. Our platform from day one was architected to collect mood data based on psychological scales. And one of those is, as an example, the Spielberger State Trait Anxiety Inventory. There are a couple others that we've comported from a UI UX standpoint. And I'm really proud to say that we've completed 8 million TRIPP sessions, which is the largest scale in our category. We're now enabling this robust mood data set with deep learning to understand how to better support a user's sense of well-being in real time. That's the next chapter. To support that, we've received 2 patents that adapt both VR and AR experiences to a user's mood, as well as their sense state of being. And we accomplish that through detection of breath and heart rate straight from the accelerometer in the headset. And so going forward, machine learning, procedural content generation, and also generative AI models are what we're going to leverage to bring about much greater personalization for our growing member base. Pleased to share that credible entities all around the world have included TRIPP in clinical studies across numerous categories. So from substance use disorder, for which we won an NIH grant, to ADHD, to pain and stress and anxiety, we're supporting research. And probably my favorite effort underway is one being conducted by principal researchers at NASA in Antarctica. And the focal point there is stress reduction as a means to ultimately boost immunity in astronauts. One key differentiator for the TRIPP offering is how sticky it is. So let me share a couple metrics. TRIPP over-indexes on retention. So the figure to zero in on is 42% of our monthly active users have been using TRIPP for 12 months or longer. As a comparison point, when you look at median retention for wellness apps, it tends to be a small fraction, roughly at 3%. So 42% versus 3%. And in medicine, retention is referred to as adherence, and it's not easy to achieve, and you see a lot of drop-off. So we feel delivering this as part and parcel, having impact, but also building a large, profitable business over time. One thing that also separates us that we're proud of is habit building through true gamification, not lamification. So we recently launched a new feature called Sanctum, and I'd love for you all to check this out, in device sometime. But essentially, you earn AR rewards, and that happens when you're using TRIPP consecutively 3 times in a given week. And as a result, we gift you interactive objects. And those could be creatures, they could be portals, they could be music from award-winning musicians like Moby. And so what you're seeing here is one of our TRIPP members curated, her own sanctum. And that enabled her to transform her physical space. So also kind of on the metric side, given that people are not quite walking around at all hours with goggles on, I envision this is, we're on the cusp of this happening. We're pleased to see that 43% of our monthly active user base is using TRIPP 2 to 3 times a week. And when we launched this feature called Sanctum, we saw a 31% increase in usage. Really, really encouraging. So kind of bringing this, home here in this conversation, uh, TRIPP is neither a medical company nor do we make therapeutic claims, but our users are constantly sharing with us how we're helping them. So be that adults struggling with ADHD feel a bit more focused, mothers telling us that their autistic children are more calm, or hedge fund managers finding greater peace of mind. I'd like to just read you a very short excerpt from a message that moved our team, sent to us by a war veteran in Missouri. Before COVID-19, we used to get together under supervision of a doctor and talk about PTSD, anxiety, and nightmares. These days, I have buddies from the group over to my place who are extremely suicidal. Some are close to calling it quits, and TRIPP has been a beacon of hope. So when we look forward, given the strength, the data-centric strength of our platform and where generative AI is headed and the ways that we can incorporate it, we see a lot of potential to be able to target and address specific mental health conditions. And we feel the future of mental health and health more broadly is really, really bright, and we're just delighted to be a part of that revolution. So thank you very much.